Charles Van Morgan, the Charles Van Morgan Show. Good morning. We're filming live from the City County building, going to talk about the warnings from Micah in Micah chapter 3 to the government. Micah was talking to government officials, to judges and people in government power. He wasn't talking to the populace, and he was warning them about 4 different issues of injustice. And history repeats itself. Some of the same things are going on today in the state of Tennessee. We're going to compare them, talk about the warnings that Micah gave to the leaders in Israel at that time. And these warnings are still valid today about the Tennessee government. The warnings were calling good evil and evil good, and selling justice for a price, devouring the people, and perverting justice. So come on in, Charles Van Morgan Show in the morning. Come on in. We're going to talk about those issues this morning as it relates to the Tennessee government, the warnings to Tennessee government. Now, Micah was speaking in Micah chapter 3 about the government in Jerusalem. Today, it's the same history repeated, the things that the government in Tennessee is doing to Tennesseans, and we're gonna talk about that this morning. The judgment on the state of Tennessee that's coming, that's just around the corner if they don't change their ways. But there's some good news. So come on in, Charles Van Morgan Show live in the morning. Welcome. And we're going to talk about those issues this morning. So let's turn this around, get right into the show. So Charles Van Morgan broadcasting live downtown Knoxville, Tennessee. We're talking about the warnings to people in government power. Back in Micah's day, he warned the government officials. He was talking to government officials, and he gave them some warnings, some things that they were doing that they weren't supposed to be doing, warning them, this is what you're doing, pointing the finger at them. So I am today following in the footsteps of Micah. I'm not a prophet, but I can interpret the Bible just like you can. And we're talking about some atrocities committed by people in state government and state power, what they're doing. The warnings in Micah chapter 3, and you can look over that, are that they were calling good evil and evil good. They were selling justice for a price. They were devouring the people they were supposed to serve, and they were perverting justice. And we're going to look at all 3 of those. But first, in the news, I want to talk about something that's going on in the news right now. That's covering all the news. A distraction is the Epstein files. Everybody wants to talk about the Epstein files and what's going on with Mr. Epstein, and he's dead. And the president has said it's a hoax, that there's nothing there, he said it's a distraction. And in a time when the economy is sinking, food prices are horrific, and inflation has consumed the lower class and the bottom class and the middle class, and people are, and the news media is distracting us with the Epstein files. Mr. Epstein is dead. He's been dead for over a year. And also the perverted acts that he done, and I hate it for the victims. I get that. They're not victims. They're not millions of victims all across the United States that are being affected by what the government's trying, and people in power trying to distract us from. They have nothing to do with inflation, and they won't help inflation, and they help victims after the fact, but they're not going to cure any significant problems other than to call out what Micah chapter 3 called out, is that these people in power are protecting themselves. So this is Charles Van Morgan Show. Charles Van Morgan in the morning. We're going to give you some prophetic words from Micah as it applies to today. A warning to state government officials. I don't care who they are. And that's who Micah was talking to. He was talking to government officials. The government, the most powerful entity on the face of the planet. And Micah was giving them a warning. Hey, some bad things are going to happen, and they did happen 100 years later if you don't heed my warnings, if you don't straighten out these ways, this evil that you're doing. So let's see if we got anybody in here. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to spell that out, what the state government is doing to you in Tennessee this very day, this very hour, that they better correct. Now, they don't have to listen to me, but there's somebody more powerful than me. That's God Almighty. And the same things that were happening in Micah's day is going on today at an alarming, accelerated rate. So, and we got some good news, and we're going to talk about that with facts and evidence. Just lay it out for you, and you can look at it yourself. So let's see if we got anybody in here. Yeah, we got quite a few. So like, share, and comment. So the history tends to repeat itself. People tend to commit the same offenses and go through the same things throughout history. Repeats itself. We're supposed to get a little bit smarter and do things a little bit better and improve. And we can learn from history. We can learn from what Micah said in the holiest book on the planet, spoken by God. Words that a prophet, Micah, received from God to tell the leaders. And he wasn't speaking to me and you. And he's not speaking to me and you today. He's speaking to today the prophetic words that apply the same to people in Tennessee government. Now, they don't think that they got to listen. And in Micah's day, they didn't at first either. And in Jeremiah's day, 100 years later, they didn't think they had to listen. But they do have to listen, and they better listen, because bad things happen to those that run. And the state is running right now. So this is the message from God's holy word to Governor Bill Lee, the self-proclaimed Christian. Let's look at what he says, match it up with see if what he does. And we got some documents and some paperwork that we're going to show you about what he claims and about what he really does. It's two different things. So the Epstein file drop. Everybody wants to deal with that. Well, that's going to solve a lot of problems, isn't it? Everybody already knows the government's dirty as hell. So let's look at the beautiful view. Come on board, Charles Van Morgan in the morning. Everybody already knows the government's dirty as hell. And it is December the 26th. If you got to go back to work today, you're not a government official because they've given federal government time off. So let's look at the Epstein files. Everybody wants to talk about that. And there's people on the internet, all this baloney about saying that they can fill in the redacted information by going on documents and all that baloney. I mean, if you believe that stuff, if you believe that the redacted stuff that the government redacted, officially redacted, that you can go on Google Docs and fill in that stuff just by taking off the blackened part, then that's completely absurd. You have all these people that are going all over the place, and all these videos getting, some of them hundreds of thousands of views, telling people that you can download those redacted files, put them in a Google document, and find out exactly what was said. That the redacted, you can unredact the redacted. That is not true. You can't do that. It doesn't work. And then there's those other people that say you can put it in the AI, and the AI will fill in what the document said. AI can't do that. It can guess. It can guesstimate, estimate, but that's not scientific fact. It might not have anything to do with what AI thinks it has to do with. It might be completely opposite. But I mentioned that the Epstein files, that's in the news. That's all in the news. They're dumping files by the truckloads, and wow, everybody wants to look to them. And while kids are going hungry and the government's going to hell, but we want to talk about Mr. Epstein. And, you know, the few hundreds of victims, which that's a sad thing. That doesn't affect what's going on now substantially, other than the fact that we know that there was probably people in government power that protected a child sex ring. Is that alarming to anybody? It went on right here at the courthouse in Knoxville. It was a child sex ring, but it was a sex ring going on in the courthouse in Knoxville, and government officials protected that. In Kentucky, they had a sex ring at the Kentucky courthouse where the judge was doing illicit things, allegedly. We don't know that yet. And the one that got shot in Kentucky. It's not an unusual thing, unfortunately, for there to be cover-ups in the government involving sexual abuses and sexual sins. Goes on all the damn time. Happens a lot. The only part we should be interested in is the fact that the government cover-up and protection of people in high power and high places. That should be the focus, to try to protect that, to try to stop that, not about what happened in the Epstein files years and years ago and the man is dead. But the news media will say, look here, and they're trying to tell you that people in the White House now and people are responsible for that, and that's not the issue. That's a camouflage. That's a hoax. That has nothing to do with anything other than what I'm presenting to people is that the government covers up wrongdoing, and that's the fact that we need to concentrate on, not on the Epstein files. We can look through every one of those Epstein files, and we're probably not going to find anything significant that will help in the future. We already know what we need to know. The government covers up child sexual rings. People in power do that. That's what we need to know. That's all we need to know. If someone needs to be prosecuted, they do. I think if that could have been found out, it would have been found out. A lot of it already has. But I'm going to do a document dump myself today on this show. Charles Van Morgan, in 2025, in December the 26th, I'm going to do a Trotz files document dump. Tracy Trotz to the bathroom, the former colonel of the THP. I'm going to do a document drop file on him. How about that? How about if you want to look through some interesting stuff that has to do with your life, your daily life today, let's do the Trotz files document file. I'll run over a bunch of documents on camera. You can screenshot them and read over that stuff, and maybe it'll alleviate some of the Epstein files. What about the Trotz files? Now, he wasn't guilty that I know of any kind of pedophilia, although some of the people involved in this have got hints of that by their accusations. They're gaslighting. So if you gaslight somebody about something that is completely absurd, then maybe you're the one involved in it. So there very possibly could be. So we're going to do some Trotz files dumps, loads, and we're going to review it on camera on the show. So if you want to see that at the end, we'll do that. We'll review a bunch of these files I've got. You can read over them and get your satisfied with stuff that's important in the state of Tennessee. Let's see how many people we got on here. We're going to talk about Micah chapter 3. So thank you. So yeah, we are broadcasting live in Knoxville, Tennessee. And like, share, comment. So we're going to do the Trotz files document dump, and because the truth matters. So let's talk about Micah chapter 3 now. He was talking to the leaders in Israel. Now that's the pretense. Today in Tennessee, the leaders in Tennessee need to hear this. Now they probably won't. That's on them, not on me. It's not me, it's God. God spoke the Bible. I'm just reciting what God told Micah to tell the leaders in Israel, the judges, and the people in Israel, his warning to them. He told them they were doing these things, and you can read the chapter 3. He told them they were doing certain things that they needed to stop. One of them was exactly what the state of Tennessee's doing under the Christian governor, Bill Lee. They're calling good evil and evil good. Wow, imagine that. That's what Micah said. And that's exactly what they're doing in the state of Tennessee. They're perverting justice. Now, in my specific case, they're calling a drunk driver good and the person that was risking their life trying to apprehend them evil. And perverting justice, calling things that are good evil, and evil good. So let's look at some of the stuff it says so rules and prophets condemn. And I said, here I pray ye, O heads of Jacob, and ye princes of the house of Israel, it is not for you to know judgment. So that's what we're saying to the state of Tennessee. Is it not for you to know judgment? We were just right at the courthouse. Is it not for you to know justice? Yes, it is. Who hate the good and love the evil. So they hate good and love evil. Look what they've done in Tennessee. Who hate the good and love the evil. So he's talking to, and I said, here I pray you, O heads of Jacob, and you princes of the house of Israel. It's not for you to know judgment. And this is Micah 3, rulers and prophets condemn. So this is talking to the leaders. This ain't talking to the people. So this is not God's message to you, the mass populace in the state of Tennessee. God's not telling you in these passages that you're doing anything wrong. This is Micah's message to the leaders of Israel in that time. His warning to them. This is his first warning. Is it not for you to know judgment? You go to these courthouses. Is it not for you to know judgment? They should, and they do. And he tells them exactly what they do today in all these courthouses all across the state of Tennessee. They hate good and they love evil. And I know that. I've seen it for a fact, and it may happen in a lot of your cases. They take children away from Tennessee, parents that should have them, and give them to the bad parents. They do whatever the hell they want to do. They literally hate good. They hate it. They hate Christian people. They hate God-fearing people. They hate people that are atheists. They hate people. Even atheists can do good stuff. Even the common man, even if you're not Christian, this is for you. They hate you if you do anything good, and they love evil. They love evil. That's a sickness. You know, Barack Obama was asked if he believed in good and evil, and he said that he believed in evil. He's seen evil. So there is evil, and evil where people do things not for any great gain or not for any benefit. They just do it because they love evil. They love doing bad things to people. And people that do good, they hate good. I mean, that is what Micah is accusing the leaders. Not just the people the leaders of doing. The people weren't doing that. The leaders were doing that. And spoke to the leaders. So Tennessee government prophetically in the Bible, is it not for you to know justice? Yeah, they know justice. Why do you hate good? You hate somebody going after a drunk driver, trying to arrest him, trying to get in custody. And you love the evil person and lift them up, let them go speak in schools and let them do act like they're good. That's pretty pathetic what they do. And they sell justice for a price. There's a TCA code, or a code here in Knox County. If you get forced into court and you haven't done anything wrong, a civil offense where you don't get a jury, where you don't even get a jury, and you get accused of doing something wrong, they have a code here in Knox County, and I bet most counties, where you have to pay a fine if the judge finds you guilty. You don't get a jury, and the judge has a financial incentive to find you guilty, because if he adjudicates rightly and fairly, I've been through the same thing, if he adjudicates rightly and fairly that you haven't done anything wrong, he gets no money, and the court system gets no money. You just walk out of the courtroom, there's no case, it's done. And people have accused you, if they go through the family injustice center sometimes, they don't have to pay for that. So they find you guilty, here in Knox County, they will find you guilty, although you've committed no offense, because part of the money goes to the judge's retirement. So he has a financial incentive to find you guilty, and they do. They use their financial incentive. I had an attorney sit in the courtroom all day, and the judge, McMillan, adjudicated people guilty all day long. Not one person was adjudicated innocent. Why? Because he's got a financial incentive. If he tells the truth that you're not guilty, then you get no money. That's Judge McMillan, Knox County Courthouse. Call him out by name. That's justice for a price. You're selling justice. That is so wicked. That is so wicked. And then you're adjudicating good is evil and evil is good when you're the one that's evil for doing that. The city judge here in Knoxville, when he won the election, he beat an incumbent candidate that had been judge for 20 years. He said he was going to run the city court's office like a business. Excuse me, the city courthouse is not a business. It shouldn't be run like a business. The fines and court costs and everything should be to keep the system functioning. A part of it should be taxpayer money to keep the system functioning, not just fines and costs. And also, because it's got to pay for the innocent people that go in there, that should be funded by everybody. And also, justice should be blind. You shouldn't find somebody in order for it to profit and benefit the system. It's not a business. A business is a for-profit thing in order to make profit, where you sell goods to the public and there's a benefit. There's no benefit in selling fines and court costs. The only thing in justice, according to the Constitution, there's a limitation in Tennessee, a $50 fine, but they changed that by adding to the court cost and add on that you have to pay more. But the Tennessee Constitution says you can't pay more than a $50 fine. But they get around that by charging court costs, excessive court costs. But the fines should only act as a criminal deterrent, so somebody won't commit that act again. Not as a benefit to the court system, to the judges, and not as a business to gain revenue. That's not what criminal justice is about in the United States of America. But the judge literally said here in Knoxville, Tennessee, and it's run that way all over the state. People just ain't dumb enough to say it. And I may sit in front of that judge one day. The truth is the truth, but the criminal justice, the civil justice fine system is not a business. And justice is supposed to be blind. You're not supposed to have a financial incentive in that. So even the very foundation of the criminal court system, the city court system for fines and court costs, is sick, pathetic. Right in the words of Micah, that they're benefiting and justice for a price. If you have a constitution that says $50 fine, that's all it should be, a $50 fine for offenses. It should be for a deterrent. But they're running the city fine system as a business. The more stops you make, the more fines you get, the more money, the better the city-county building, the better the courthouse. It's a revenue, it's a business that benefits them. The government should not benefit solely the people in office. They are public servants. They should serve, not be lifted up and benefited. So the very foundation came out in public, said that he's going to run the city court system as a business. Wow, amazing. It's not a business. It's not a business. It is to protect society. Fines should be so people won't drive dangerously again, won't repeat the behavior that they were doing in the first place. It's not about a business making revenue, making the city and county better. And they even come out and admit that. That's not even hidden. Justice for a price, same as the days of Micah, and they even say it. They even say it because they got a gun and they could say it. So many people got in here. We'll continue with this dialogue, and I'll tell you about the days of Micah are the days in 2025, I believe, and getting much, much worse than they've ever been. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We're close to 3,000 subscribers. Got over 1.7 million viewers. Thank you very much, audience. We're getting the word out. We're getting the truth out against people in government power. And this is not what I'm saying. This is what Micah said to the leaders. And I'm saying this to the leaders, the people in Tennessee. Just hear what I'm saying to them. This message is for them. If you know some leaders, tell them, call them up, tell them to get on YouTube. Somebody's speaking to you prophetically from the Henley Bridge. And Lord, help me to be safe. These people are dangerous as hell, I'm telling you. I'll keep my guard out. Call him up, tell the governor. Charles Van Morgan's talking about you. He's saying that you claim to be a Christian. He's talking about things you do wrong, showing evidence and facts of that. Wow, somebody brave enough to do that. Yeah, may God protect me, I pray, in the Lord Jesus Christ's name, because it takes it. Prophets don't kill the messenger. The message won't stop. It doesn't matter. You can kill me. The message goes on. That'll just make it worse, because people will know what you did. I'm just the messenger, speaking prophetic words that applied in Micah's time, that apply in 2025 to the people that sit in power in our offices to this very day. History repeats itself. And I'm asking them, respectfully as I can, how can you talk respectfully to people that have disrespected you and demoralized themselves? You got to tell them so they can start getting legitimacy and start being moral and start being accountable. Until you tell them the truth, then maybe they don't know. I think they do, but we're about to tell them today. We're about to fix this thing. And let me tell you, there's some good news at the end. We're about to fix this for the governor. Listen to me, governor. Listen to me, state representatives. Listen to what I'm telling you. Read Micah chapter 3 and then look in the damn mirror. I'm telling you what you need to do. So you are, is it not for you to know justice? I mean, wow, look at our courtrooms. Sold for money, even got a code that pays in the system, pays judges retirement. They go off in their BMWs, their big fancy houses, while the people they find are not even guilty. A lot of times they do it for money. That's wrong. It's against God's commandments. It's evil. And it needs to stop. It needs to stop now. People are waking up. They're getting mad as hell. It's wrong, and you should be mad as hell. And the way we fight it is by telling them, hey, you're doing wrong. Look what you're doing to us. We're not deceived. We're eyes wide open. Look what he said to Micah. Same thing applies today. Listen, Governor Bill Lee, you claim to be a Christian. Listen, read chapter 3 of Micah. You're doing it to us now under a Christian banner. You think we're fooled? You think people are stupid? Go to the grocery store. People aren't stupid who hate the good and love the evil. Look what he's done in his own department. This is just two of the things that he's done. Now look at the things he's done. Who hate the good and love the evil. So Lieutenant Gary Davis in Nashville, he leaked documents, and he's been charged with theft by the police department in Nashville for leaking documents. You can look it up, it's in the paper. And they're charging him with a crime. And he reported injustice in the police department earlier, and then he allegedly has gotten documents of an ongoing investigation and leaked them to the public. And they charge him with a crime for stealing those documents and release them to the public. Charge him with a criminal offense for that. Because he's going against the department. The department didn't want that stuff released, so that's a crime. When the department wants it not released, then it's a crime. When it doesn't benefit the agenda of people in government power, they call it evil. You look at Major Stacey Heatherly, in that incident in 2011, she has probably, was one of the few that knew, released documents involving an investigation, just like Gary Davis did, involving the investigation of the Nashville shooting, but it made the Nashville Police Department look bad. It wasn't the agenda that the Nashville Police Department wanted to spread, so they charged him with a crime for releasing documents stolen to the public. Major Stacey Heatherly, the public communications officer, relationship with the media, one of the only few that knew about the videotape during the pursuit, and I had nothing to hide, and they accused me of releasing video. I didn't release no video. That's not true. I followed their procedure to the T exactly. I knew the procedure. I had the pursuit policy above my visor where I know exactly what I was supposed to do. Read it routinely to make sure that's a high tense situation that you can forget stuff. So I made sure that I had it. Like I review the videos before I go over them so I know what I'm talking about. she released, I believe, confidential information involving a death investigation prior to authorization to the news media, I believe. So she released confidential files to the news media. Same thing Gary Davis did. The difference is what she was doing was releasing information about a trooper that they wanted to destroy. So even though she committed a criminal act, the same as Gary Davis did, stealing information released to the public. Now he's being charged, supposed to go to trial in 2025. She did it, but it's a crime that the department wanted to perpetrate. That's what the department wanted to do, so it's not a crime. So they call good evil and evil good, depending on whether or not it benefits people in government power, and they think we're stupid. It's still wrong. And then they promoted her for committing a criminal act. I believe she released the video to the news media. And the news media didn't even say anything bad about it. It was out for several weeks where people saw what happened and they didn't think anything bad about it. Of course, the trooper drive past the wreck. They couldn't even see the wreck themselves until the news media got the bad information from Stacey Heatherly, because it didn't have the false propaganda, didn't have the evil that she wanted to pin on it when it was good, what I did. So whenever they put the narrative that she put on that, where she stole information just like Gary Davis did, he was charged, she wasn't, because Tracy Trotz, and I'm going to do the document dump, wanted that information, false information put out to the news media, wanted her to steal that tape, I believe. Even though he says he was mad, he lies like hell. And another person with the department says they didn't even release it without authorization. And that's why they did an investigation on it. Why do you do an investigation on something that's not that you don't know whether it's released or not? You would know. You need to get your lies straight. So she released that information, putting an evil spin on it. And then the news media, people told me this, after the video had been out for several weeks, nothing said about it. Obviously, off the road, couldn't see it. A bad thing. The trooper's a hero going after somebody drunk. Obviously, they killed themselves. They're drunk and dangerous. Thank him for doing his job. Well, a lot of troopers are parked in parking lots related to Heatherly. They don't have to do anything to get promoted. They're her family or her husband in the highway patrol. It's all about the family. It ain't about doing your job. If you do your job, they'll make you look evil when you're good and make themselves look good when they're evil, and another department will prosecute somebody for the same thing. But if you're promoting the evil agenda of the department, then you get promoted. I mean, that's not real hard. Micah chapter 3, same thing going on. I know, I don't have to hypothesize. It's not conspiracy theory. I've seen it with my own eyes. And that's what they do. And then the news media, after she tells them, hey, they showed the video and it showed what happened, and people looked at it for what it was. So she didn't like that, so she puts the false propaganda. No, you don't understand. I bet she called one of them on the phone and said, no, you don't understand Channel 10. Margie Eisen or the news person there, and they're just presenting the news the way the channel tells them to. He's seen that wreck, lying to them. And I seen the tail end of the car. I didn't identify it as a wreck. There's two different things. I did see the car, but I seen the tail end. I'm going to show you a picture. It didn't look like a wreck. And then they draw a circle around it and show the same video. And the news draws a circle around it, and they say, see, you can see it. Sure you can. They draw a circle and an arrow. Here it is. And change the whole narrative. I mean, there was a lottery ticket won yesterday in the $1.7 billion lottery, and people know right now, you can know where that store is. They printed it where that lottery ticket was sold, and they're not telling who bought it, but you can go, and it makes you think that, hey, I could have went there in that store and bought that ticket, because you know now. So it's a time thing. It makes you think that, hey, we know that now, so yesterday we should have known it. Puts it together when that's not together. Because yesterday, before the person bought the ticket, there are a million places all across Tennessee where that, and all across the United States where that ticket could have been sold. But when you know where it's at, it makes you put A with B, but there's a time difference. The information that you have at A before B happens, you don't know that information until B happens, and then B happens, and when you look back at A, you think, well, I should have known. It's not that. It doesn't work that way. That's not real life. When you draw a circle around it and you put something, then you allege that the trooper saw it at the scene when you're driving a circle. Well, let me tell you something, public and whatever you want to think. You're calling good evil, because I was good. and drawing a circle and saying that I should have. When I drove by, I didn't see no damn circle around the car. That's not the way it happened. I seen the tail end of the car, and I'm about to show you how the road force. They say slow down, so I seen it. Well, the road force. I'm trying to figure out which way it went. So that's evidence that they stick in there. So they can tell you now where the lottery ticket was sold. They tell you now where the car is. Draw a circle around it, but that doesn't mean I knew that then. Yesterday, I wish the hell I'd known where that lottery ticket was going to be sold. I'd have went in there and bought every damn one of them. And that's the standard. That's how they call good evil and evil good. What a stretch they tried. And they got that through a court system that didn't know. I beg to tell you, they did damn sure know. They didn't care, because the court justices are injustice in the state of Tennessee. That's the way they are. And then the other crimes that they committed, that they call good and good evil. Justice is for sale. And then they also eat the flesh of my people and flay their skin from off them, and they break their bones and chop them in pieces as for the pot and its flesh within the cauldron. So this is evil. This in Micah, and I'll do the same thing today. Micah is comparing what the rulers are doing in Israel to cannibalism. Look at what he says here. And I'm just saying, people in Tennessee, the government, it's compared to cannibalism. They also eat the flesh of my people and flay their skin from off them, and they break their bones and drop them in pieces as for their pot and its flesh within the cauldron. So what they're doing is they're using the government to benefit them at the expense of the public. So they're literally robbing the public of their very beings, and the government is feeding off that. That's happening today. In 2025, under Christian banner, and they fly that banner. And that was happening in that day, in the religious people. You say Governor Bill Lee's committing cannibalism. Yeah, he's using the government, giving tax breaks to the billionaires, and poor people don't even have food to eat. They're literally starving. They're starving children. I'm accusing them of that. Comparable to cannibalism. That's what the Bible says. It's comparable to that. That is so grotesque. And I'm telling you, that's how grotesque these people in Tennessee government are. They need to be held accountable. You don't start to fix the problem until you tell them, hey, Governor Bill Lee, you are a cannibal. What you're doing is dirty and nasty. You have no credibility. You're not a good man. You're disgusting. What you're doing is disgusting. It's despicable. Stop. That's what Micah's telling these people. Stop what you're doing. You need to stop this. They don't think they'll be held accountable. God sent Micah. Hey, you're calling. You know to do justice. You don't do it. You love evil and hate good. And your government policies and the things you're doing are like cannibalism. You're feeding off the people and benefiting yourself while they're dying. You say, how's Governor Bill Lee doing that? That's a little bit of an exaggeration, Van. No, it's not. Hell no, it's not. You don't fix the problem until you call it out. Look what he's doing. Let's the governor, Christian governor. Look what he's doing. I'll tell you what he's doing. You want to see what he's doing? I'll show you what he's doing. I don't care who you are. Micah spoke to him. I don't care who you are, leaders. I'm not talking to you, the people in Tennessee. I'm telling you, you're hearing in on the conversation I'm having with the leaders in the state of Tennessee. I'm calling them out for what they are. Nobody does that. Unbridled news. Why not? Maybe they're afraid of man. Some of them are. Now there's some brave people, and the people join me. I'm not afraid of man. Take my life, I'll go straight to heaven. My soul's safe with God. But I'm going to tell you Because I'm on the earth now, and this is the only time I have to tell you. And I told you when I get to heaven, I'll probably get crowns for it. I'm telling you, Governor, I don't care what you call yourself. I know what you're doing. You can't lie to me, and I won't let you lie to the Tennessee people. I'll expose you for who you are. You can get on your stage with Marsha Blackburn and lie all you want to. I'll stand here on the end of the Henley Street Bridge and tell the truth to 1.7 million people. Let me show you what Governor Bill Lee's doing. Now he politics it away and says, well, we're doing this because of this. Yeah, look what you're doing. It's not good. It's cannibalism. It's similar to cannibalism. Governor Bill Lee in Tennessee and the legislature in Tennessee. This is who Micah was talking to. This is who Charles Van Morgan's talking to. Reciting the Bible, history repeats itself, to the Tennessee government in 2025. I'm not pulling any punches. It does no good. It's the truth. They have time to straighten out their ways. Will they? Stop your cannibalism. People in Tennessee, it's hurting little children. I'm not afraid to fight you. I'd be afraid to fight God. God sent me to tell you, you better listen. If you don't, it's on you. I can't help you. God can, and it's not too late. Let's look at what Governor Bill Lee's doing. Cannibalism. I'm accusing him of cannibalism. Look what he's doing. Okay, look at this. Lee effectively rejected around $75 million in federal funds for Tennessee students by declining to use the program this year. After the decision was publicly criticized, the governor announced a smaller state-run program that costs the state much more to serve fewer kids. Tennessee Department of Human Services. So the governor over Tennessee, actually, let me read this. Actually, the Bible says, "Judge not that you be not judged." So did the Bible tell? So the Bible told Micah not to tell these people, these leaders. So there's a time and place, judge not that you be not judged. You're taking things out of context. What the government does, which is exactly what Bill Lee did right here, taking things out of context. Judge not that you be not judged doesn't mean that you can't demand fairness and you can't tell people to stop committing cannibalism. That's what the Bible says. So you take your little warp on the Bible and you go put it where the sun don't shine, because that don't apply, and you go talk to God about it, because don't talk to me about it. I'm not just stupid, and you're not going to intimidate me with your baloney. I speak from the words of the Bible. This is what the Bible said to leaders. I'm repeating this to leaders in Tennessee. If they're not doing this, they have nothing to worry about. But they are. I just read you. So if you don't like what I'm saying, stay on my channel and keep helping me. You're helping the chat. So, and people that are on my team, that are on God's team, that are on children's team, then stay in here and don't let these people intimidate you. If I didn't bother them, if we weren't making a difference, they wouldn't be worried about it, would they? They know we matter. The more they yap, the more you know. So Lee, Governor Bill Lee, the cannibalism, $75 million in federal funds taken away that he could have got that would have helped the economy from the federal government. Other states took it. A lot of other states took the money to feed little children. I mean, can you argue against that? Well, he did. I mean, you can argue against anything. You can argue that there's a philosophical science that we're not here, we're not real, and reality is not real. If you want to argue that, I don't believe that at all. I think if you run out in front of a truck, you'll really be dead, and you really won't be here then. But, I mean, frivolous arguments that are political baloney. Little children going hungry, he let it happen. He doesn't care. And that's what Governor Bill Lee did. The Christian governor let little children starve. Woe unto him that would hurt little children. Talks about it better that a millstone be hung about his neck. Governor Lee, I don't care what you think. I don't care how you politicize things. And you might think you're right in your own eyes, but when you let little children starve, and there's over 75,000 children in the state of Tennessee that have food insecurity, they're not responsible for that. They're little children. You can't play the blame game. Doesn't work. Doesn't work with God. It might work with you and your political little cronies. Doesn't work with God, and it's not going to work. This is your warning. Get it right, or pay the consequences, and they're real consequences. You don't have to listen to me. I'm telling you that you will pay for your mistreatment of little children in the state of Tennessee. You're going to pay for that. You can listen to me. You don't have to listen to me. That's on you. I'm doing my job. I am telling you. I'm not judging you. I'm speaking. God judged you. I'm repeating God's judgment on you for what you've done to Tennessee. 75 million funds that would have helped the economy in Tennessee. He alleges that he turned it down because of administrative costs. $75 million would have brought in money to the state, would have offset any administrative cost. And even if it did cost administrative costs, it would have cost less than his smaller state-run system that he ran himself after he was criticized. So you get this, you read between the lines. He denied in 2025, this year, federal funds that the federal government is going to send into Tennessee to help feed hungry children in Tennessee. Hungry children, people have argued with me, and you can argue this all day long if you want to. I care about the truth. Your arguments fall on deaf ears with me if they're false, because you're just saying things that aren't true. Because there are children in the state of Tennessee, about 75,000, that have food insecurity, that don't have food to eat. That is a fact. That's not myth or reality. That is true. Who can watch a little child not have breakfast to eat in the morning and not have the food to eat, food insecurity, because and think this is a civilized Tennessee and not a third world country run by a government that's committing cannibalism, that's taking that money, that's rejecting free money and then costing Tennesseans money by giving tax breaks to his own damn company. He wasn't so hard on his own company, which he gave tax breaks to, but little children and free money won't even take that, and you don't think that's cannibalism? I mean, it's not real hard to figure out their political lies. I've got a JD. I know how they flip things and mess things around and lie to you and lead you on a false path. I'm telling you, $75 million in federal funds was denied by the Christian governor to feed little children that wouldn't cost the state a dime, would have made it money, and he admits, after he was criticized, that he made a mistake. So he admits that he should have accepted that money. So he even admits that he did something wrong, and he ran a smaller state system with less money. If he would have done right, he would have matched the $75 million in federal money. He just did it because of criticism, because his mistake was so obvious. While he's giving his own damn company tax breaks and millionaires tax breaks, he's starving little children in the state of Tennessee under a Christian banner. How dare you? You'll be held much more accountable than other people. And you don't have to listen to me. God spoke, not me. This is the Bible. This is the holy word of God that you hold up and act like you believe. 4 votes. Not because you believe the moral beliefs of the Lord Jesus Christ, because I assure you he wouldn't let children starve to death, and you don't care to. There's a major problem there, but it's not too late, Governor. Correct. Micah was warning these people, this is what you're doing. 4 things. We've covered 3. Calling good evil and evil good. Told you about the lieutenant in Nashville charged criminally for going against the company, for going against the state. Major Heatherly did the same thing, much worse, a felony, and she was promoted because she's promoting the false agenda of the department. So it matters which side of the government you're on, whether or not you're charged with a crime. Calling good evil and evil good. Selling justice for a price. Making money off cost and fines and other things they do. And then the cannibalism. They destroying the very people that you're supposed to serve. And then the perversion of justice. They pervert justice. They adjudicate falsely in people's favor. And justice is completely perverted. If you go in a Tennessee courtroom, you won't get justice. You will get a judge that adjudicates for the governor for promotion. Justice is supposed to be about what's right and fair. In Tennessee, it's about what will benefit the governor, and if you rule in his favor, you'll get promoted. And then listen to what it says about this. It says here, then shall they cry to the Lord, but he will not hear them. He will hide his face from them at that time, as they have behaved themselves ill in their doings. So when they pray, God won't hear them. And I don't think that God will hear the prayer of Bill Lee. I don't think he'll hear it until he straightens out his ways. So here is rulers and prophets came, and I said, "Here I pray ye, O heads of Jacob, and ye princes of the house of Israel, is it not for you to know judgment, who hate the good and love the evil, who pluck off the skin from off them and their flesh of their bones, who also eat the flesh of my people, and fry their skin from off them, and they break their bones and chop them in pieces as for the pot, and as fresh within the cauldron. Then shall they cry to the Lord, but he will not hear them. He will even hide his face from them at the time, as they have behaved themselves in their doings." So that's what God says about Micah to the leaders in that time. How many of our statesmen serve God continually and obviously in their public life? So what a contrast between the night passed in the lion's den and the palace. Stone walls do not a prison make, nor iron bars a cage, and soft beds and luxurious delight. The wind's blowing a little bit. Let me get straight here so it won't blow. What a contrast between the night pressured in the lion's den and the palace. Stone walls did not a prison make, nor the bars a cage, and soft beds and luxurious delights of sense bring no ease to trouble conscience to trouble. Daniel is more at rest through his soul is among lions than Durus in his palace, but Peter sleeps soundly through the coming morning is to be his last. Better to be the victim than the doer of injustice. Better to be the victim than the doer of justice. So better to be in my shoes, better to be in our shoes in Tennessee than Major over the Tennessee Highway Patrol or Colonel of the Tennessee Highway Patrol. Do they sleep good at night, or should they? You know, there's a lot of peace, a lot of satisfaction in doing the right thing and doing good, even if the state government calls it evil, even if people call it evil. I sleep just fine. I'll get my rewards in heaven. Hopefully I'll get them on earth. You know, Daniel was put in jail in the lion's den for praying to God, for defying the King Durus's order that he was manipulated into signing to not pray except for to him. So he made a law that if you prayed to anybody else except for the king, then you'd be punished in the lion's den. And Daniel went in the lion's den. The lion's den hurt him. He was more at peace under the circumstances that the government gave him than the king was on the throne, knowing that he had cast an innocent person in the lion's den, but they weren't harmed. But the troubled conscience of people in power, the troubled conscience, and obviously the governor has a little troubled conscience if he's criticizing, he's trying to do something about it, the troubled conscience, but he didn't match that 75,000 people. Had I been in the governor's office, I would have got that money and funded the government. So there's a lot of I don't feel sorry for myself. If people feel sorry for me, you're coming from the wrong place. I don't feel sorry for myself. Daniel wasn't in the lion's den saying, I feel sorry for myself. Boo-hoo me. He was completely at peace. God was protecting him. God's on his side. The lions didn't hurt him. I'm completely at peace. They did wrong, and they took what they took, and that's fine. I'm completely at peace. God's providing for me. I'm not worried about anything. God's on my side. I try to do right, and I did right. I did right on November the 26th, 2011. Did right. The state's done wrong. It's on their conscience, not mine. I did right. And maybe that will be straightened out. I'm asking the governor to straighten that out. He won't do it. He might. I don't know. If he does, then maybe he won't fall under the judgment, and God will hear him. But God doesn't hear people in power that call good evil and evil good, which the state government does in Tennessee. People in power in the state. Justice is for a price. They cannibalize the people, and they pervert justice. As Micah warned the leaders, and the leaders in Tennessee, I'm warning you, that's what you're doing. And God doesn't hear their prayers when they continue in that. Now, the good thing about it is, and we'll bring that up at the end, hang with me, in that time. So, the Bible does not shy away from addressing the challenges and potential for corruption within the government. The prophets often spoke against injustice perpetrated by rulers. That's Micah 3:1-3. Condemns leaders who hate good and love evil, highlighting the need for accountability. So let's do a little document dump here. So, the Bible does not shy away from addressing the challenges and potential for corruption within the government. The prophets often speak against injustice perpetrated by rulers, Micah 3:1-3. Condemns leaders who hate good and love evil, highlighting the need for accountability and reform. So, that's God's perfect. Ultimately, the Bible points to the establishment of God's perfect government. Isaiah prophesies the coming of a divine ruler. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government will be upon his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government and peace there will be no end. So yesterday, representing the birth of Jesus Christ, there will be a perfect government. But the Bible doesn't shy away from calling out leaders and the false propaganda that look at the beautiful view that perpetrates their lies and by the news media. So let's look at this. This is bearing false witnesses. Journals increasingly fail to obey the 9th commandment. So this is in the news media. The news media puts out this stuff, this false propaganda about people. And food insecurity in Tennessee. About 1 in 5 Tennessee children are food insecure, meaning they don't have consistent access to enough food for a healthy, active life. That relates to over 300,000 children statewide facing food insecurity. And I just showed you how the governor of Tennessee denied hundreds. The Christian governor, Lee, rejected $75 million in federal funds to use the program this year after the decision was publicly criticized. And so he admits that it was even wrong. So 1 in 5 Tennessee children, and Lee has ended a federal program funding them. And so Lee Lee has effectively starved little children with cannibalism in the state of Tennessee. What a wicked person. And journalists, these people prop him up to be somebody that he's not. And they prop him up to be somebody that he's not. So let's read some of the comments. I can feel the shame on my face. Okay. Generally, you don't see how hard your... Okay, I don't understand. He told me to shove the Bible verse where the sun don't shine. That doesn't sound right to me. You shine it where the sun don't shine. If you don't, your Bible verse that you're misinterpreting. Let's see. Maybe this is his way of making up for things. Okay. All the propaganda. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm going to get off here. I apologize to y'all. Yeah, right. You take yourself and go where the sun don't shine, because that's where your wicked selves are. And I appreciate you being on my show. You're helping the algorithm. So thank y'all for watching. Let's go on with some more of the dialogue here. So we're going to do the document drop. Let's read some of this right here. The primary purpose of government. The primary purpose of government as outlined in scriptures of old, justice and righteousness, Proverbs 8 states, by me kings reign, and rulers enact just laws. By me princes govern, and all nobles who rule on earth. Government is tasked with the protection of its citizens, the punishment of wrongdoers, and the promotion of peace and prosperity. So that's government's purpose. The role of leaders in government are called to serve with integrity and wisdom. Paul urges, first of all, then I urge the petitions, prayers, intercessions, and thanksgiving be to offered for everyone, for kings and all those in authority, so that we may lead tranquil and quiet lives in all goodness and dignity. Leaders are accountable to God for their actions and are expected to govern justly, and they don't. And here is the governor, him starving out little children. It says, in Matthew 8:16, but if anyone causes any of those little ones who believed in me to stumble, it would be far better for him to have a large millstone hanging around his neck and to be drowned in the depths of the sea. The statement reveals the seriousness of wrongdoing against children. The seriousness of wrongdoing against little children. Lee effectively rejected around $75 million in federal funds for Tennessee students. The statement reveals the seriousness of wrongdoing against children while focused on leading them into sin. The principle certainly includes the egregious offense of sexual exploitation. The pathetic language of protection demonstrates that mistreating a child in any capacity, allowing them to go hungry, provokes a grave judgment. Now, this is what I'm trying to tell to the leaders in Tennessee. You don't have to worry about me. Don't worry about me. You better worry about God. Read Micah chapter 3 and look in the mirror and compare that to stuff that you're doing to Tennesseans in the state of Tennessee. It is pretty wicked. And we're going to do this document dump. We're going to go over the trot files and release the trot files to you and show you some of the, Jeffrey Epstein, the files are released. The files are released in his case, and we're going to show you some files of the Tennessee government, and let you scan over them. You can see the crooked Tennessee government, the trot files, and we're gonna release that to you and show you some alarming things about the Tennessee government, and talk about some, and then conclude with some things that we can do about it, and talk about some truth things. So hold on here. And like I said, the Bible does not shy away from addressing challenges of potential corruption within the government. The prophecies often spoke against injustices perpetrated by rulers. We're talking about injustices perpetrated by rulers in Tennessee. Hate good and love evil, heighten the need for accountability and reform. So we're not shying away from the truth because it matters. It matters a lot, and doesn't change over the passage of time. So let's go over some of my notes here, and then we'll cover the trot files dump. I'll scan my YouTube live on the show. We're going to go over the trot files dump, and you can screenshot it and use it for later reference. People are so interested in the Epstein files. Let's look at the Trot's files. Some of his dirty, and compare that to reality, and for factual documentation, show you that at the end of the show. In closing the show, we'll show you the Trot's files. The truth matters. It matters a lot. Lies told don't go away with time, and also they affect the fatality rate. Still 45% higher. So a lot of people have gotten mistreated by Tennessee government and because they're crooked people. And it's not just me, but I might be in the lion's den, but I sleep just fine. And some worse than me, even little children not being fed. I mean, the reason that they weren't being taken care of is little children don't vote, so the government didn't care about them politically. And so we gave you some examples of people in power. People distrust the Tennessee government because they're not trustable. And I'm trying to spread that message. You shouldn't trust them. So Micah 3 is not for the poor. It's spoken to power, to rulers who were supposed to know judgment, but they don't. And, so, moral of verse, who hate the good and love evil. When rulers flip morality, everything beneath them rots. Devouring the people, they feed on the people, not protected, not served. They consume the nation and enrich themselves. That's what Tennessee government does. This is my warning to them. God's response. God hides his face and power cries to God after corruption, but judgment comes when repentance never did. So, false prophets, peace for a price. Prophets speak comfort only if they're fed. Truth costs too much. So you have to pay to get the truth. The truth is who pays for it. Blind leaders, no vision, no light. When the truth is sold, darkness replaces direction. True authority, power by the Spirit. Micah speaks alone. Fall of judgment and might. Not paid, not afraid. I speak alone. I'm not paid and I'm not afraid to speak this truth to the governor. So justice perverted, justice for sale, judges for rule for reward, equity is trusted, law becomes a weapon. So they weaponize and put people in jail that speak out against them, that send a warning. Just like Daniel in the lion's den. And I've been put in jail for speaking out against power, not advocating any violence, just telling them what they're doing wrong. And so they punish me, and they'll be punished for that. The line that ends nations. They build with blood. Every fallen nation crosses this line. They build with blood of other people. Every fallen nation crosses that line. Will America be in the end days? I don't know. The consequences. Zion plowed as a field. Sacred institutions fall when justice dies. Israel, Rome, every nation's power that devours the people continually devours us. Nations have fallen because of the things that Micah said. But I believe that truth matters. And just like I've succeeded in every endeavor that I've ever sought to succeed, except for the government has closed off the successes that I have, but I've been able to achieve and should have gotten them, but the government has closed off. I was very successful as a state trooper, providing for your safety at my own expense. Very successful in getting through law school. and graduating and passing the bar. But the government has cut off that at your expense and our expense. But I believe that what we do matters, and holding the government out, we're winning. We don't have to get violent or angry. The victory is ours. We're winning. They're the ones that are going to pay the price for the evil, wicked they did. And we have truth and peace. They have lies and war. So here's the issues that we covered that I will go over. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Devour. Duty betrayed. Rulers were supposed to know judgment. Evil rebanded. God punished evil. Protected victims. Consumed. God's steps. Rulers eat the people. Peace for sale. Comfort for pay. War for truth. So that's what the government does. Understand. Loss, no vision, darkness instead of light. Response withdrawn, no answer from God. That's what they get. They don't get an answer from God. So they are investigating the wreck in Maryville, where two police officers ran into each other. The wreck with a Knoxville police officer. And here's the picture that I didn't have the other day. And it looks like the inside of the compartment of the police car is fine. One person has died in that wreck, and they're investigating this wreck. Here, the Highway Patrol is when they have lied in other wrecks, and they put things where they're not. Here's a picture. Here's part of the. We'll put that on the information dump. Here's part of the picture where they investigated the wreck on Hendersonville Pike, and they're investigating that wreck with that police officer. And they say that I slowed down when I seen the car and then took off because I seen the car, is what they're saying. They're putting that, me slowing down, saying that I seen that with the car. And I just want to show you a picture, and I've got some other pictures I'll show you in the future. But this is a picture of that right here. So you can see you're coming down through here. And I'm looking at the road. Now they tell you, I'm looking here, and I'm looking at the back end of the car, which is not damaged, and you can see the road forks. So I don't see the car down here. So of course I slow down to try to see which way he went. So I slow down, I lose sight of the car, top the hill, and I slow down right in here because I'm trying to figure out, I'm trying to look for the car, both different directions. They claim that I'm looking for the car right here, and I see the car, slow down because I see the car, and then when I see it, know it's wrecked, that I take off. And the truth is, here's the truth. I even told them this, and even another witness said she didn't see the car. The truth is, top the hill, don't see the car because the car has went off the road. I didn't know that it had went off the road. I didn't see that. Even the camera doesn't see that. See, it went off the road. I'm on the road. I'm not in danger anybody. I'm looking on the road. I had no idea that the lottery ticket was there. I had no idea that happened. Didn't see it. Didn't know that. They know that. I had no idea that happened. So when I come across the hill, I'm looking down the road in here, and I didn't see it. So when I get about here, I'm slowing down because I'm trying to find the car. The road forks. I'm trying to decide which direction to go on that fork. Now there's a fork there. See that fork in the road? There's a fork in the road right there. So I'm slowing down because I didn't see him on either fork, and I'm trying to decide which way to go. Not because I seen that car, knew it was wrecked, trying to avoid my responsibility. Because if that was true, why would I keep going? Because if I keep going, I get in trouble. Because I know a camera's on. But if I stop and try to help him, like if I'd have seen him, I would have. So what benefit do I have in keeping going? There's no benefit in that. So see the loop that they take you through? So they because they want to sell that, because they want to defame me, because they want to call good evil and evil good. The drunk driver and his family are good people. But the trooper that's trying his best, the road forks will slow down because the road forks. Even the Attorney General throws that fact in there where it don't belong. I slowed down because I seen the wreck and chose to ignore it. It's what they're saying. That's a lie. That's not true. That's not true at all. I told them I seen the tail end of the car that didn't look like it had any damage on it, and I didn't think it was wrecked. I thought it was a parked car. That's logical sense. How can you come up with that that lie, when it happens to pan out by the tail end of the car, looks just fine. See, I've been a genius liar if I was a liar, but the truth makes a difference. It's the truth. I slowed down because I lost sight of the car. The car just happened to wreck right there. Sure, I lost sight of it because it's off the road. I don't see it. So those two things that they're putting together don't go together. I slowed down not because I seen a wreck and intentionally drove by. That doesn't even make any sense. Why would I keep going for it? I mean, if I'd have seen it, I would have. So I would have benefited had I seen it. But it's not my fault he wrecked off the road in a manner I couldn't see him. And I slowed down not because I seen the wreck and sped off. That's crazy as hell. That's crazy. That's what they're trying to sell to judges, and the judges knew that wasn't true. They knew if they rule for the governor, get this man fired, ruin his life, that's good for them. They get promoted to higher judgeship because every damn time, doesn't matter, they'll rule for the governor. They just throw in some erroneous fact in there that means something completely different than what it really means. I slowed down because the road force, I'm trying to figure out which way to go. I can't just fly one way when I think he might have went the other way. That's a natural reaction when you're trying to find somebody. You know, hide and seek. If you run and the person disappears, you might slow down if the road force. I mean, that's the way it works. But see, they lie on me. And that's a picture that shows you in detail why that happened. And they lied about that. See, the car's off the road. I'm looking on the road. I didn't see him do that. The road force, I'm trying to figure out which way he went. I slowed down because I'm trying to figure out which way he went. And the dirty lawyer that sued me over that, what a creep you are. What a creep you are. Got his name on billboards all over putting that on me. That's not true. I'm not afraid of you. I'm not violent or dangerous. I wouldn't hurt him now. He might hurt himself. He's so stupid. And there's judgment for people that pervert justice like that. There's judgment for you. And I pray every day that Mr. Garza will reap the consequences of his perverted judgment, his false lawsuit. There's help with God. I wouldn't dare lay a hand on him. The lawsuit was dismissed, but God's still real, and he can, people that lie and pervert justice and benefit because of it. In the day of Micah, that's what happened. God won't hear them, and there's a warning for people that do that kind of stuff. There's a penalty for it. God affects things on the earth, especially when people pray about it. Now, the truth is, and this is the perverted justice about it, I was out on the road risking my life for public safety. These police officers were in pursuit. In 2011, the same as me, she was killed. He was killed, cause of death vehicle pursuit. Cause of death vehicle pursuit. Cause of death vehicle pursuit. Her cause of death was vehicle pursuit. Albany. So 1, 2, 3, 4 people. 4 people were doing the same thing that I was doing right here, and they lost their lives serving the public. Lost their lives serving the public. I was doing that too. I knew it was a high dangerous activity. I knew that. I knew a lot of police officers were killed in high-speed pursuits, but I was performing something that was necessary, trying to protect the public from a dangerous drunk person. I could have been killed doing what I was doing. There's 4 officers that were killed in high-speed pursuit, same thing I was doing. Now, I didn't lose my life as far as my heart stopping, having a wreck, or somebody pulling out in front of me and being killed, as these people were. These are dead people, and God rest their souls, and they're heroes. Were killed in 2011 doing the same thing I was doing. Doing the same thing that I was doing. But thank the good Lord in heaven, I'm fine. It didn't kill me. It could have killed me. But I'm a bad person according to the state government. They're calling good evil and evil good. That's just as crooked as you can be. And you know, stepping over these people right here that risked their lives and died in a vehicle pursuit. And here I am right here. I survived the crash. I survived any crash. I didn't crash because I was experienced, not that these people did anything wrong. But the state government effectively, by false testimony, by violating the 9th commandment, perpetrated false testimony. They bore false witness. The state, this people in power, the people Micah is speaking to, perpetrated false testimony and took my job and took my law license that I was in law school at the time, and took my law license and made good evil, made me out to be evil. And I didn't do anything evil. I'm in the lines now. I'm sleeping just fine. These people should be terrified in their boots, because I pray about it. I pray about it a lot, because it's something that continues to affect my life. It's affected my life this year. Can't even get my law license. I'm not dead. These people died. I'm not dead. I'm still alive. I'm still alive, but they've effectively ended any chance, as it stands, unless God changes things, and I believe He will, about me having a successful life, or me doing anything involving the government giving me any kind of license or permission. Not because I did anything wrong, because I didn't. Because they did wrong, and they're benefiting because they love evil. This is your people, still in state government power now. They love evil, and they're investigating that wreck where that police officer got killed on Kingston Pike. And this is just one of their many lies. They say that car. I said I passed that car because I didn't see. Now here's the diagram of it. There it is right there. I slow down right here because I lose sight of it. I didn't know it was off the road. I seen the tail end of the car. Here's the tail end of the car. You can't see any damage on that. That's a picture of the tail end of that car right there. From the dash cam. You can't see. That looks like a parked car. That looks like a parked car. That's what I seen. I slowed down, caught that out of the corner of my eye, trying to figure out which way to go. I didn't slow down because I seen a wreck. I seen that right there. Tail end of the car, not wreck. Judge Lefevre adds lights on it. Judge Lefevre, item 5. The grievant in-car video recorded captured the silver car crash. It doesn't capture crash. It captures that right there. And its tail light glowing. Do you see a tail light on that car? There's no tail light. So the judge lied. Judge Lefevre perverted justice. He's a pervert. He's a justice perverter. You can't even find a picture of him. You can't even find a picture of him. They protect him. And then this year people say, oh, it was a long time ago. Why are you whining about that? Well, I'm not whining about it. I'm just fine in the lion's den. Maybe Governor Lee shouldn't be, because there's somebody a lot more powerful than Charles Van Morgan, somebody that prays. Like Micah told those people, you're perverting justice. Barbara Zulica just got officially reinstated, by the way. You can hire her today, particularly if you're looking for representation before the Tennessee Board of Law Examiners, and couldn't make it because she thought your character was concerning. Enough money to buy your ruling from Tennessee courts. I wish I had my law license so I could help Tennesseans and get a good enough job with medical insurance, and I wish Tennessee would increase teen care spending so little children could get medical care and not get a abortion because their parents have none of them. But Tennessee government, self-proclaimed, pays a lot. Governor High Bills won't allow us that. They get it, but not you. So here's an ambulance. So subscribe to the channel. So in Micah's day, so they turned me down from my law license, saying that I wasn't good enough to be a lawyer, while the judge that adjudicated that I wasn't good enough to be a lawyer was committing a crime of dishonesty while she was adjudicating that I'm not honest. I mean, how does that work? It doesn't work. It's calling good evil and evil good. And now she's got her license back and her record expunged, and she's a licensed practicing lawyer, but I will never, under Governor Bill Lee, never have my law license in Tennessee. I'm not like Jelly Roll. I didn't commit crimes. I didn't rob people. But if you got power and money, then you get whatever you want. But if you go against the state government justifiably for the right reasons, then they blackball you. And that's what the government is for, to blackball people, to feed, to cannibalism. And that's what Micah called the government cannibalistic. He called them out for doing it. 4 things. For calling good evil and evil good, for selling justice, for being cannibalistic over the population they're supposed to serve, and for perverting justice. And it's not a conspiracy theory that I'm saying these things. These things really happen. We're going to do the Trotz document file drop so you can record them, maybe send him a copy of them. Get interested in that. It has something to do with your future. So they lie about things. They're pretty crooked, dirty, sick, pathetic people, and they mistreat Tennesseans and don't treat us right, and don't treat you right. But in Micah's day, they listened to Micah and corrected their ways. So the good news is, and 100 years later they mentioned Micah, Jeremiah. And so the good news is that putting out the message, telling these people, hey, you're doing these things wrong. You're calling good evil and evil good, in more cases than just my case. They do that all across Tennessee. You all have probably, a lot of y'all have been mistreated, and if you haven't been mistreated, you probably will. They sell justice. They'll find you guilty for a fine even if you didn't commit a crime. They're cannibalistic against the people, denying food for hungry children. And they pervert justice, changing it around to what it's not. And Micah warned those people in that day, speaking to leaders, and the leaders listened to him and changed their ways, and the nation was spared. So you just committed a crime. Made a left turn. So yeah. But the nation of Israel then corrected their ways and listened to Micah. So there is hope that the government in Tennessee will change their ways and will correct the wrong that they're doing. But I don't know. I know that there are things we can do about it by voting, collective action, and supporting voters of truth and rage, and getting the truth out about these people. Not being afraid to talk about the government and what they're doing wicked. So we're gonna do the document drop and the Trotz files drop, the Epstein files, the Trotz files. So y'all can have some information to look at as far as what the government is doing. So they're investigating this wreck, and what it means when they're investigating a wreck is when they say we're investigating, that often means we're managing the narrative. So they're investigating this wreck right here with the Knoxville police and one person killed. So they're managing the narrative is what they're doing. They're not going to tell you the truth. They're managing what the story that they're going to put out. In the case in Maryville with 2 police officers, and in this case here, they're just managing the narrative. So what we can do about this, and they listened to Micah in that day. Hopefully the governor and these people in power will listen. People acting together toward a common goal, using combined energy to create change. That's vote. Voters of truth and rage. So subscribe to the channel. Listen, spread the message. Talk to people and let them know about the channel. The government hates truthful propaganda that points them out from Scripture, and war's already been declared according to a government official, Andy Ogles, that declared war. So there's war declared against the judiciary. So gathering Tennesseans and supporters worldwide to vote out corrupt officials, using freedom of speech to expose wrongdoing, which is what I'm doing now. Pressure those in power. We're going to pressure them, and the pressure will work. We need to do what we can. Mobilizing numbers. Every registered voter who didn't vote in 2022 and every eligible non-registered voter is part of the potential movement. So we outnumber them. There's more of us than them. This facade they can't keep going on. They're going to reap the rewards of it. God's going to judge them, and we need to take action to take our legal responsibility, not anything violent, to speak out and vote ourselves. Together, we are stronger than any single politician or crooked official, every person court speaking, showing up, or voting. So those are things that we need to do. And let's do our little document drop here, where we can show you, you can screenshot this stuff and show you about that incident, the Trotz files, his wicked corruption. And you can look at this and screenshot it and do like the Epstein files. And so we're going to do the Trotz files, the dirty man that he is. So here's the Trotz files. If you want to look at these and screenshot this. So screenshot these, the Trotz files. This is the Charles Van Morgan Show. You're looking live at not the Epstein files. You're looking live at the Trotz files. Screenshot or rewind the video. The live Trotz files. Call Mr. Trotz. Show him. I'm showing him his files live. You can slow your screen down and relook at this stuff. If you need to. Give you just a second to screenshot it. This is the Charles Van Morgan Show. You're looking live at the Trotz files. Not the Epstein files, the Trotz files. The dirty Trotz. We're doing the Trotz files dump. The Trotz files release. Whoops. Thank you from the Father. I appreciate that. Here's what they're doing. They're taking people's retirement from them. That's why, one of the reasons they're doing it, they're taking retirement. This is the Trotz files. Screenshot the Trotz files. It's not the Epstein files, it's the Trotz files. Like, share, comment, screenshot the Trotz files dump. The Colonel Tracy Trotz files, the dirty man he is. Here's the evidence. Call people if you want to see the Epstein files. That's good. Look at the Trotz files. Better than the Epstein files, I think. Screenshot the Trotz files. Call people, tell them we're downloading the Trotz files. Yeah. If you're just joining us, this is the Trotz Files, as opposed to the Epstein Files. This is the Dirty Trotz Files. Document dump. So we're going to show you the beautiful scenery of the bridge before we take off here. And we're going all the way down here at the Knoxville, the bridge on Henley Street, and we're going to show you all the beautiful view before we log off here. Thank you all for coming, and so let's get a few more likes and shares. We'll show you the beautiful view. This is Charles Van Morgan. You've been watching the Charles Van Morgan Show. We'll try to be back on here Monday, or if news happens tomorrow, there's the beautiful scenery. As always, God loves you, and I do too. Join us again. Share the message. Thank you all so very much. Continue to hit the like and share button as we show you the beautiful view. And again, over 1.7 million people coming up on. We'll be able to say a couple million here in a few days. So notify your friends. Let's get the message out. Speaking the message of Micah to people in Tennessee government power, heed the warning or face God's wrath. God won't listen to you. Thank you all very much. God's on our side. We won't fear what man can do to us. So we sent the message. We'll see how they deal with it. It's clear. Call them and tell them to subscribe to the channel. I don't know, a lot of them are watching the channel. Isn't that amazing? A lot of them watching my YouTube channel. I got inside information and documentation, so they're welcome too. I hope they change their ways. We're going to vote them out, and God's going to judge them. I believe that. And for everyone that's faced injustice from somebody that says they're for justice, flying the Christian banner and loving evil and hating good, there's a price to be paid. And this is their warning. Hopefully, as in the day of Malachi, they turned their ways, and justice was delayed for at least another century until Jeremiah. Some of the same things happened in Jeremiah's day, and they didn't repent then. So we're asking and we're telling them, this is what you get. We told you, the ball's in your court. Do what you're going to do, or face the consequences. God bless you all. Thank you for joining.